Hello, my loves. Happy 11/11 new moon in Scorpio. So, yes, you have noticed that I've been gone. I've actually not really been gone. One video I took down after one day because I felt like I was being too vulgar when I was talking about us leaving the low vibrational way and moving into the high vibrational feminine way. So I want to redo that and kind of put it in a way that's not so dramatic. And I actually did a video last full moon too, but I never even ended up loading it. There's just something in me that's been like really resisting being in the public arena of YouTube. You know, and so many people think it's the hot diggity dang and it's how they get big, but for me, I want to get big in other ways. I want to reach people in other ways rather than them stumbling across an astrology video. So I'm having this thing where it's hard for me to put videos up here. Even though I still want to talk on them and I still want to reach out, I just kind of want to separate myself from this particular platform. It's wonderful for what it is, but for me and the people I want to reach and my vision, it's not exact. It's almost reaching too much of what I don't want to reach, even though that's kind of bad to say, but keeping it real. So anyway, let's get into this full moon and I'll tell you a little more about this new moon, and I'll tell you a little bit more about my plans to figure out a way to, you know, kind of meet halfway and still doing videos, but not having them be on YouTube. So anyway, with the energies right now, this is really exciting. And you know, I'm always saying things like that. It's always exciting to me. Like everything is always so exciting to me. So right now what you're really going to notice is people are starting to have brilliant insights, brilliant ideas. Things are doing that kind of coming full circle. All of a sudden something that wasn't moving, that wasn't going anywhere, is all of a sudden just going to land on your doorstep, and it's going to be so clear and it's going to be so amazing, and you're going to see that it's like, why did I worry? You know, why did I doubt that it would work out? Why did I, you know, put so much energy into trying to figure this out when, oh my gosh, now the pieces are coming together and it's amazing. So there's a really heightened energy right now that's going to ripple out to more people, because always these energies are contagious. That's why it's really important to be with your tribe. You know, it's really important to only be doing projects you love, to only be collaborating with people you love, to only be living with people you love, to only be having friends that are really your die-hard friends who have your back no matter what. It's really important to be in the vibration of, you know, total merging and compatibility. And the more you're in those that are not, the bigger they will feel to you, the more out of balance they will feel to you. And we just don't want that. It's not, there's not us needing, you know, I remember too, like, when I first started on the spiritual path when I was about 24, 25, back in the mid-90s, and I remember, you know, then there were all these things, because when you first, you know, kind of embark on that path, there's all these rules that you think you have to follow, and one is getting along with everybody. And, you know, as you get older and as you get more solid in yourself and as you get more like walking your talk in the spiritual path, you realize that that's not really the point of the game. You know, to get along with everybody isn't really a possibility, considering that we all still have so many wounds and triggers and things that we're healing. And, you know, what we see with face value is often a lot different than what we feel on an inner level with people. So being that our bodies are being wired to be very sensitive to true energy exchanges with people, it's made it so important that you honor how everybody feels around you. And if there's anything that's a little off, it's about confronting it, releasing it, shifting out of it, doing whatever you can to separate yourself from that, because basically things are held down, things are compressed, things are hidden when you're not in a proper energy exchange. So like if you've been married for 15 years and you're someone who never thought that, you know, you would ever get divorced or, you know, ever, commit to you just committed to it was from here to death, right? Like most people do when they're married, when they get married, even though marriage is, you know, over 50% end in divorce, because we change, you know, and a big point and lesson in that is realizing we change our minds. I'm working on this project with this person right now, and I was telling her the other day how she presented this thing in blue, and I was like, yeah, I'm just not feeling the blue. We're gonna have to think another color because I just don't really gel with that. And then like 8 months later, I'm now saying to her, oh my gosh, you know what? I love the blue. I think it's great that it's blue. We need to go with blue. And it's just something we were joking around about, how, you know, in life we just change. And we have to be allowed to change our minds and to not beat ourselves up. It's really crazy to think we're ever going to be in the same state of mind forever. You know, we don't stay as toddlers. We don't stay as, you know, grade school. We don't stay as junior high mentality. We don't stay at high school mentality. We don't stay at college mentality. 20-something mentality is totally different than 30-something mentality, which is totally different than 40-something mentality, which is totally different than 50, 60. They're all so different. We evolve, we change our minds. And as we grow, we like different things. So to think that you can be with somebody for the rest of your life it's great if you can do it, but if you can't do it, you just have to honor that that's how it goes. We change. We've learned what we have, what we were supposed to with these people, and now we go on our way and we learn these other experiences from somebody else. So there's a really big energy that's really kind of coming into people's lives now that's saying, forgive yourself if you're not living up to what you said you were going to do. You know, words are one thing, but energy is another. And, you know, you may have, you know, I remember before I launched my business, I was only at this job for my last job working for somebody else I was only there for a month. And at first I loved it. I thought this was the greatest job ever. I was so stoked I was in this arena. It was so much fun and all that. And then this one thing changed and I walked in and I was disgusted being in this place and in this energy and with these people. So it was so wonderful at one point, and it switched overnight to the point I was like, get me out of here. And what was really cool too is because I won't even get into that. That's another story. I'll tell it another time. But it changed overnight. And I honored it, and I walked out of there, and boom, I started doing my business. So we just have to surrender more to what is naturally showing up, what kind of feeling it gives us, but also being open to we change our mind as we get older. That's why I say too, like things we like in our 20s are not the same when we get older. They're not the same when we get to our 40s and 50s. It's like we're like fine wines. We change and we get better. And that's what we don't understand. We get better. we don't understand. We have this mentality of superficial is all there is. So we think, oh, when we're younger and fresh, like we're all beautiful in our 20s, you know. It's rare to see someone who's not gorgeous in their 20s. And then we get older, and then it's like the true personality starts to show your worth and your value, you know. So who you really are inside takes more importance. So I just freak out sometimes with things I end up talking about here because I have no idea what I'm going to talk about, but you see how it just rolls and I'm like, oh, okay, we're talking about this now. It's so much fun. See, that's why I don't want to cut these out, because I do really enjoy this spontaneous kind of communication. and for my own sake, I'm listening too. So, I'm like, yeah, that's true. I'm a fine wine. Okay, so anyway, with this energy, there's going to be a really big freshness to it. And I wrote yesterday on one of my social networking things that it's like a turning point. So for many people, there's just going to be this kind of turning point. Like like I said, things that were blocked, things that weren't moving, things that were confusing are suddenly clear. It's going to be like the light suddenly shined on things, and it's actually going to continue. So if you're not there yet with coming to the realization of what you need to do or whatever, it's going to come soon. So just kind of trust that and be inspired by other people around you who are having this happen. Kind of know too that, you know, whatever is always happening around you is a sign of what you also can manifest, or what is also coming into your life. That's why I tell people, don't get jealous or upset if, you know, all these people suddenly fall in love, or all these people suddenly land the most kick-ass jobs, you know. Instead, have that natural wonder of, oh my gosh, I bet this means that same thing's coming to me. You know, really kind of hold that vibration of, that's a sign for me, instead of being in the scarcity way of, oh, there's not enough. How come you got it and I didn't? How come everybody gets everything and I don't? You know, that's a really big mistake that humans make on their path. And I know it, I walked it too. I've always had very, very successful friends around me. I always just see people like everything just drops in their lap. And when things were really hard for me for a really long time, it was really hard because I wasn't aware of that yet. It was, I interpreted it as hard to see that they were all succeeding and I wasn't. And now, you know, I kind of am living that, and I know that it was a sign that what was to come for me, but it was also could have come quicker had I been holding the right perspective and holding the right energy, because jealousy, envy, you know, that kind of stuff is never good for your manifesting field. It's kind of like blowing out the road in front of you when you hold those kind of perspectives. So when you're saying, you know, those kind of, when you're having those kind of jealous or envious or vengeful, like, why do you have, or I'll get even with you for how dare you talk to me like that, or those kind of things that you can feel are just really lower. It's really about like throwing a bomb in front of your path that you now have to take a longer journey going down into the trenches and then up again on your path. So we're all learning this, you know. Again, the energy is really big about forgiving ourselves, you know, and kind of, you know, I said I was going to do this. I now have to change my mind. I have to honor me, you know, and kind of forgive yourself enough to make these decisions that your body needs to make. And, you know, I'm going to be getting so much more into that in what I'm going to tell you in just a little bit, but more with the energies. So there is oh, okay, so there also can be things that are kind of abrupt. I think it's mostly going to be things that are awakening to you to the words that you're using, awakening you to how you've been holding yourself back, maybe even because you've been staying in a group of people that isn't right, maybe having to leave a job, realizing this is a toxic dump here. Everybody is so depressed, everybody is so angry. Something with, you know, a night and day kind of change for people. And I think that's probably what I'm picking up on, that that turning point where you've been going down this road and you thought this was just going to be the road you were going to follow, and now all of a sudden your body is telling you, I have to take a right. I thought I was going straight and I have to take a right. So you can expect that situations will come up where you have to do this. And let me tell you, you have to do this. You don't have to do this if this is just something in your mind, like you're feeling suspicious or something like that. But if you're feeling it in your body, like your body's like, I can't keep coming into work here, you have to understand that so often the universe moves us through shock. You know, moves us through this total lightning bolt change to our plans, where we thought this was happening and now this other thing is happening. And it's really beautiful because part of it is really showing you, you know, because there's changes in our minds right now happening, and part of it is really showing you that you don't have to push and force things. And when the decision comes to finally make a change, it's abundantly clear. It's always abundantly clear. And right now we're going to have these changes and these shifts that are abundantly clear. Like there's no doubt now, you know what you need to do. And before, you know, you were like wishy-washy. This doesn't feel right. I don't know. What should I do? And you're going to all these psychics, or you're getting all these readings, and you're doing card readings every other minute. What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? And what I always want to tell people is that means it's not time to make a decision. When you still are in that space, but it's kind of like, even like in pregnancy, how there's signs before the baby's coming, but then the mom might be in labor for 24, 48 hours. So those are signs that a fork is coming in your road, but it's not the impetus. It's not the actual instigation, provocation to make the change yet. Because when it's time to make the change, you know. So it's kind of a new golden rule in how to function in the new earth energies. You know 100%, it's clear. And because we're really new in, you know, these new decisions that we're going to be making that just come out of the blue, that come from the depth of our body, that come where we're like, I can't keep doing this. You might have that where you're like, I can't go into this job anymore. You know, that's what happened to me. I can't go in there. This is horrible. And, so one of the things, since it is kind of new for us, it is good to have really good diehard friends around you to just kind of bounce them off of, you know, just to kind of like, you know, I had this really big decision that I made, and I knew what I had to do. And I am not someone who goes to anybody for advice or help. I'm really solid and independent in my core of who I am. And I reached out to all these friends. And what's great is the first one who responded is, you know, the person I'm closest to. Thank goodness she responded. And I just, you know, I said, okay, so I know this is crazy, but listen to what I'm thinking and listen to what I'm feeling. And she was so supportive, and that's why she's one of my favorite people, you know, because she was so supportive and she understood, and she was like, absolutely, you absolutely should do this, and da-da-da. And then I was like, yeah, you're right. And I already knew I could do it. I already knew I was going to do it. I already knew that all the signs came on that day that you're not going forward anymore. You have to make a sharp left-hand turn. But I had this person too who could just hear me out and was like, yeah, absolutely, I would do the exact same thing as you. And then I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm so stoked. I'm so happy. So do know that as our bodies are speaking to us more like this in this new way, at first you'll need a little support. You'll need a little guidance. But eventually you're going to start making these decisions as they come. And you might only have a couple a year, honestly. It's not like this is always going to be, you're always going to be changing your mind. You're always going to be, you know, making a left when you said you'd go straight. But it's something that's happening for us actually as a blessing for us to get more in tune to what our body is always telling us. That's why a lot of times too we start feeling weird things with people, like I don't really trust that person, I don't really feel good about that person, I feel sketchy about that person, because there really is something going on there. And we're going to start listening to our bodies so much more, so that we don't even think about it, we don't even focus on it, we don't try to figure it out. It's really good to not try to figure it out, and then just let it go and be like, this isn't right, you're not the person I thought you were, or something's going on that I don't feel good about, period. Move on, because we don't really have to understand it. Often what it is, it can be something past life. Often what it is just like, you know, that's where like we provoke people who are mirroring things that we need to see about ourselves. So it's a lot of times it's just that. It's nothing more. It's that you have what they want. It's that you express as what they want, and then they're not ready to celebrate that about you, so it comes up as conflict, and that means boom, you need to be out of there. We don't have time for that. Like our lives are so precious. Our time is so precious. Our space is so precious. And like I said, if you're in any situations like that that are not honoring, loving, valuing, you're holding yourself back. So it's on you. If you want to continue being married to this person who's so negative and or whatever, you know, you have to change that and clear that before you can really have all this darker energy that's covering you up and holding you back. You can't expect to really be as huge as you want to be, you know, with your career, even if you're sharing a bed with someone who resents you or who doesn't really value you or who's envious of you. So it's a really big, there's lots of insights to this energy where it's just, aha, I get it. But at the same time, like I said, don't make any moves at all until you know 100% that this is what you want and need to do. Because if you're still in that, I don't know, it's not time to make a decision. There's having these other people bump into your life, having these other things of provocation come up or whatever, in order for you to get to that point where it's 100% clear. So a lot of people are at that 100% clear, and it's exciting. It has this really jazzy energy out there. And a lot of it is too, you know, like I said, in this kind of negative things in the head, you know, and really just like something comes to now show us we don't have to hold those things anymore. We don't have to believe the worst. We don't have to fear our lives or fear that we can't sustain ourselves or fear that there's not enough to go around. We're done with that. And it's going to be a gradual process now to continue habits and new patterns that reinforce that you're safe, that you're on path, that there's a big, huge, higher plan to your life. So this is also a really great one for starting a new pattern, starting a new way of using words in your mind, starting a new way of interpreting your life as a whole and your wounds as a whole, and discovering the strength from them. But since we're starting a new pattern right now and a new path, you have to understand that these things have to be ingrained in us. So it's something that just because you decide it doesn't mean it's going to continue. It's kind of like deciding to go on a diet, you know, starting really great for a week and then you're back snacking on the potato chips and stuff. So it's that same thing as anything. It takes dedication. You know, it takes affirmations. It takes consistent focus towards ingraining this new pattern that you're trying to bring into your life. So isn't that beautiful? Okay, so that's where it's like, it's exciting, it's so exciting. We're also really going to start noticing really important shifts in people, you know, how they're feeling like a victim. You know, just something's going to change in people's minds where they're just going to start understanding that, you know, just because, you know, you fell down doesn't mean you were being punished. It means there's something down there for you to see. So there's going to be a new, and actually what it's called is Galactic Vision. But the Galactic Vision is where you're always okay with things. You know, no matter what happens, there's this trust of Mama Universe. Is the universe masculine or feminine? That's right. I wanted to say Mama, Papa, Universe. I think we think of Earth as feminine, but universe is like Mama, Papa. It's both of them. It's the perfect. They're conjoined twins, and that you're just under their wing, and it's okay. And if they say you have to stay in the crib, you know, for 2 more years because it's not safe for you to go out on your own yet, you just trust that, you know, and it's this deep trust that's going to be infiltrating into us that is what's changing our whole lives for the better. And you're just going to start noticing it bit by bit, and it's really exciting. So with that, I think I'm going to tell you, I'm so excited. So I wanted to tell you about Galactic Vision. So as you guys know, several months ago, it was probably like 6, 7, 8, you know, maybe 6 months ago, I all of a sudden was told by my guides the Galactic Vision. And then I was explained through these really easy to understand symbols what the 3 life paths of humans were. So you heard me. I was so excited. I can't wait to tell you what Galactic Vision is. And all I knew is I was putting a whole page on my new website to explain it. But my website has been in construction and been worked on for a while, so I wasn't telling anybody about it. And I was like, just wait, I'm going to have a page on my website. This is so exciting. You guys are going to love it. You're going to get it. You're going to get it more than anything you've ever gotten. And it's going to sit in your body in a different way. And it's going to make you so aware of which life path you're walking right now. So that was that. And then, and this is so beautiful. This is why I always want to tell you, sometimes we get fed things in bite-sized pieces, but we just need to be open to what is really coming our way when it comes our way, instead of forcing it. So I didn't think of anything else to do with this, but that was that. I'm going to have one page on my website. Then a couple months ago, you guys know I went away for a week up to Western Colorado, had the time of my life. Like, I have never in my life had a better week of my entire life. And it was where I was just being fed so many story lessons. So they were lessons in the form of stories and how to tell them in a story so that you really get it. So again, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. And a lot of the things about the new feminine energy, how we're here now, what this means for people. And when I came back to Santa Fe, I was like, oh my gosh, I have the material for several books. And I was so excited. I want to get started on these books. This is just amazing. And actually, let me go further back, because right before the vacation, about a week or so before the vacation, I couldn't sleep at all. And I'm a great sleeper. I'm so blessed in the sleeping category. I lay down and with a couple minutes, I'm gone. And I sleep so good. I love it. I'm so lucky. But I had like a couple weeks where I could not sleep. I tossed and turned. I was always up till like 2 or 3 in the morning. And it was crazy. And so anyway, I started writing. And I was like, oh my gosh. I started writing all these lessons and all these life things. And back in when I lived in Oakland like 8 years ago, I was told I was going to be writing the High Vibrational Handbook. And so, but again, nothing ever came from that. And I trust that stuff. You know, I knew it was planted in me for a reason. So when I was up until 3 every night, I thought I was writing the High Vibrational Handbook stuff. And that's why I planned the trip to Colorado, because I wanted to go off and write it. But I didn't end up doing any writing. I just was like receiving, and hoping that I would remember what came through. And when I got back to Santa Fe, I was like, okay, I got the material for these books. That's so cool. I'm so excited. The High Vibration Handbook is going to be several books. And then a couple weeks ago, my guides came through and they just said, there's no time to wait. We are at critical point on Earth. There's a huge turning point thing that's going to happen within around a year. And that changes everything, and people may be talking about it as it being a good thing, and for some people it can be interpreted that way, but it would basically mean a complete collapse and a need to have to rebuild in really the form of hunter-gatherer times. So where there's no electricity, there's no internet, you know, but I was also shown that we can change that and we can have it working out in a different way to be much more beneficial. And they said all that material that they fed me had to be reaching the people right now. And there's no time to waste. And then they showed me how it's going to look and how it's going to be. And I have to tell you, this was nothing I was dreaming up. What was just given to me is not even close to any dream I've had, or the form of it, the way it's coming together. Although now it makes total sense, and I'm like, I was built for this. This is so cool. But it's nothing I was planning. I wasn't like, how do I da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I didn't have 1% of that thought. And it's all related to the Galactic Vision. And it's all these teachings, and what it's going to be is a twice monthly newsletter. And it's, you know, that's why they said it's really important for things to come in bite-sized pieces and consistent, like the patterns that I was just talking about. We are reading so many books on all these new thought things, but what is happening is what they showed me a book with someone, and then there was all these butterflies above their head. So that's where it's inspiring people. It's amazing. They're like, oh my God, I get it. But then the butterflies fly away. So it's not sticking in people. It's not grounding in people. People are reading material that's so precious and ancient and valuable, but they're swooping it up in a couple nights read. And then what happens is then they need another book to motivate them and inspire them. And then they need another book. And that's why we have so many books saying the exact same thing, because it's these butterflies that are then just flittering away, and then you're making the same mistakes. You know, you're still using words that talk about how you never have enough money, how nothing ever works out your way. You know, so you read these books about how detrimental that is, and you get it, but then a week later you're off doing it every single day of your life. So they said it has to be in bite-sized pieces, and they have to come in story form so you can kind of understand. So it's going to be this amazing publication. Even all the people have come together that I'm going to collaborate with. It was so effortless. My design girl is one of my favorite people also on the planet. So it's really, I'm really excited that I finally was able to say, hey, do you want to do this with me? I want to work with you because I love you. I want to, you know, be with someone that's not just someone that I would find and hire that I don't really know, don't really resonate, don't really gel, but my sister, you know. So it's going to be, and on that too, one of the things I'm going to do is that I'm going to be doing monthly video astrology readings, which I used to do when I first began, but I didn't understand. I'm like really behind technology stuff, and I'm cool with that. You know, I much would rather just pay you to do it. And I didn't know, I had a really bad setup, and it would take like 4 days to load all the videos. And I was just starting to do them too, because you remember I would just put the chart in front of me like how I do readings anyway, and I'd press record and it'd be like, okay, Aries, let me see. So, and then boom, whatever came out of me. So there was no studying, no thinking about it, no anything until I pressed record. And I would always have people tell me how much they loved them and to go back to that way, but they took so long. And because I was new to it, I'd be so tired for days. So I was like, I can't do that. But I now have a new system. I can load all of them in one day, and I've already started recording them. And what I realized is, because I know they're going in a private group, I feel safer in the energy. I feel like you want to be here, and it feels like love, and it's just awesome. And so it's also going to have monthly energy videos for each sign. We're also going to do a lot of moon mapping, because that's where one of the things about Galactic Vision, which I will explain all of this on the 25th of November, on the next full moon, 2 weeks in Gemini. I'll explain all of this. Moon mapping is going to be a really big part of it. So I'm also doing daily moon mapping energy. You know, we're really going to be working with manifesting things as pertaining to where the moon is at in your chart on any day, and also what phase the moon is in, because there's these certain codes of when you should go and when you should stop, and you'll be able to understand them now. So everybody who took the who has the Moon Journey book is going to have this regular, consistent grounding in of using this information, and also a lot of support, because I'll be doing daily readings of what the energies are. I'll be able to tell you, today is a day you do not want to engage in fights with women. They're going to happen, and they're going to spiral out of control. You know, I'll be able to let you know those days when we think we just want to die and we're such losers. And now you're going to have the heads up, and then you're going to be like, oh, that's what's going on. It's no big deal. So it's going to be this huge thing that's not only all these teaching lessons, but there's also a lot of channeled and astrology and energy guidance in them. So it's kind of a whole package. And from what I hear from them, it's going to change everybody. So I trust that, and I feel that. And it's going to align everybody to the Galactic Vision. So in 2 weeks, you're going to hear about what the 3 life paths are. And the first issue, too, is free. So on the 25th, you can all read it. You can see, and the price is so moderate. 8 is the number for Galactic Vision. So I wanted to do it as $8.88 a month, and that's 2 huge issues. So every 2 weeks, you're going to get an issue. And I'm also going to, in a little bit, we'll have the actual physical books that you can get mailed to, so you have them, because you're going to look back on the lessons. It's going to be really great to, you know, you're going to be like, what was that thing about? What do I need to learn? So they're going to be really powerful, like an oracle deck too. So you'll want to have them around. And even in the first issue, I'm going to be like, at least print this up. I want you to read it like a book. I want you to read it slow, and I want you to read it like a book and go back to it. And so the first one is going to be free, though, so you can all try it out and see if you like it. It's going to happen the same day my new website launches and my new shop launches. So it's going to be a really big day for me on the 25th. These things that have been in the works for months are finally going to be birthing, and I'm so excited. And then, yes, so in that first one, you can all read it. And then the people who just really, you know, are feeling, oh my gosh, this is for me, you know, you'll know. And then you can come along with us, and it's going to be a beautiful ride. And this is all, like I said, had nothing to do with me. This was not a career goal. This was not something I was thinking, how can I what? How can I create an ebook that like nothing like that was coming through me. And it came in bite-sized pieces. First, as them telling me about Galactic Vision and what that is and how we're trying to get there. Then the symbols that help you understand which life path you're sitting on right now, that they can change throughout the day. And then, you know, months later, all the stories, and then weeks later, how it's going to come together. And that's where too, like, because I used my mind to figure this out, when all the stories came through me, I said, oh, I must be writing all these books. That's what this means. I came back and told everybody that. So again, we don't need to interpret what things mean. We just need to go with the flow and know that the next piece will come when it's supposed to, which is really kind of beautiful, because that's a big part of my message with this video is, you know, when change is here, you know, and when you're still being wishy-washy and pulling cards, what is going on. I remember when in my hardest time, I would pull cards several times a day like a maniac. I actually ended up getting rid of all my tarot decks and pushing that out of my life, because I was too in it for answers, instead of like meditating, instead of like going out into nature and releasing, instead of like channel writing. It was like, let me pull the cards, let me pull the cards, let me pull the cards, you know? So like I do now every so often, you know, pull cards, but it's never like for answers, and it's only for guidance about a decision I'm making, you know, now. But back then it was like crystal ball. What does this mean? Does he love me? Is anything going to come from this? When am I going to start making money? When is this going to make sense? You know, or, you know, not really like when, but all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so yes, so I think I'll stop there. I just woke up too, and was like, I can sit at the window and have some light. Oh yeah, I do. I have light. Okay, so anyway, I am so glad to see you again, and I think I'm gonna post that video I did 2 weeks ago, just so you can hear how I said they are going to start. Did I talk about that? I don't think I did. I'm going to post the video that I did last time that I didn't actually load, because it pertains to what people are seeing in the western U.S. skies right now, because I talked about it 2 weeks ago. So I feel like I said that, but I don't know if I said it to myself or if I said it on here. You may be hearing that again. I can get confused like that, because when I go walking, I say I usually am talking about what I'm gonna talk about. I go out by the river and like I just start talking all these things, and then I talk them here too. Or I go hiking and then they come out. So yeah, okay. All right, anyway, so you have a beautiful new moon in Scorpio. I'll be working on the written readings later today after I get a whole bunch of work done. Okay, I love you. Have a beautiful day. I'll see you in 2 weeks for the Galactic Vision. It's that cool. Okay.